Welcome back to Financial Fridays. Today I want to discuss a topic where a lot of money goes every single week for every single family, and that is food. The best way to save money on food is to meal plan. One of the things that people do when meal planning is they go too far ahead of themselves way too fast. So a lot of people, when they start meal planning, they're going to say, okay, we're going to have this for every single meal. And in reality, people get burned out on that way too fast if they do it that way. So I would like you, if you don't meal plan already, to do it in stages. Just like if you start working out, you want to do it in stages rather than, start with 100 push-ups a day and 100 sit-ups a day and 100 squats a day. You want to build up to it. So meal planning is the topic of this week's Financial Friday. So let's say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And every single day you're going to want a breakfast, a morning snack, a lunch, an afternoon snack, a dinner, and a dessert. So, when you're just starting out meal planning, the worst thing that you can do is say, I am going to be eating these specific meals for all of these things. The first thing you want to do is actually to make themes of the days. So let's say for Sunday, let's do it like all day you have breakfast items. Or you have a really large breakfast and just continue to eat it throughout the day. Then Monday is Mexican food day. So everything that you eat on Monday is Mexican themed. Then on Tuesday is Italian. Maybe Wednesday you make it Japanese. And Thursday you might have lots of leftovers, so you make it a leftovers day. Friday you make it American. And Saturday, you can just make it as a whatever you want day. This way, it takes a little bit of the headache of planning your meals out of the meal planning. Then, try this for a few weeks, and if you're actually able to stick to it, then you can go on to the next level of meal planning. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, dessert. So let's say you've been doing really well up here and doing all of that, but you want to make your breakfast more consistent. So what I do for this is, let's say Sunday, we have what we call a big breakfast, which is either pancakes with syrup, with bacon, with all the fixings, or like omelets or something like that. Then Monday, I'll do oatmeal. And then fruit Tuesday, and then oatmeal again, and then fruit, and then oatmeal, and then fruit. So this one day, there's something different. And then there's a switch up every other day, but I know what I'm going to be eating in the morning. And like the fruit, it could be banana, it could be oranges, it could be apples, it could be pears. You could switch it up day to day. And then the oatmeal, you can make it like brown sugar oatmeal this morning, and then the next morning you can make it apple oatmeal, or you can make it super sweet oatmeal. You can change up the oatmeals every day. You can change up the fruit. You can change up the big breakfast every single week. That way you don't get bored day to day eating the same thing over and over again. Then the morning snacks. Usually I try and make the morning snacks a piece of fruit or something sugary. So I always just put fruit for the whole entire week. Again, I change this throughout the week. So if I ate fruit for my breakfast, let's say I ate like a banana, then for my snack, I would change it up and eat maybe oranges. I know this seems like a fruit heavy day, but it works out for me. It might not work out for you, so you get to choose what your own breakfasts are going to be. And then lunches, I try and make it as on Sunday, our big breakfast runs into lunch. So I don't have to worry about that. Then I do this where I make my lunches all leftovers or sandwiches. So there are nothing else but leftovers or sandwiches throughout the whole entire week. And you can make different sandwiches, you can make different leftovers. So this saves money, and just because I can eat what's left over in my fridge, and just sandwiches, super easy to make. Afternoon snack, I usually make this a salty snack. So I'll just write salty snack here. I don't need to overly plan this. We always have chips, we always have peanuts, we always have something salty inside the house. Then dinners, I try and take it down from here to make dinners what I was doing up here. So let's say big breakfast, we had omelets, then we might have pancakes for dinner. And then Mexican food, let's do enchiladas for dinner. Italian, let's do spaghetti and meatballs. Japanese food, let's go out to eat and get some sushi, because I'm terrible at making sushi. Leftovers were on Thursday, and we've been eating these leftovers throughout the week for our lunches. So on Thursday, we can either eat the leftovers if we have extras, or we can just make it a new recipe day. I love making a new recipe day because then you need to open up a cookbook and figure out a new recipe that you may like and try it out. You might not like it. You might end up throwing it away. You might end up loving it. You might make it every single week from there on out. Then American, you can make hot dogs or hamburgers. And then whatever you want day, we end up usually making mac and cheese on this day with chili and cheese. So this is a super easy way to at least decide what you're having throughout the week. And you get to eat everything in your kitchen, and it saves you time and money because you know what you're going to eat. There's no making last minute or anything like that. It saves time or fighting or anything else. You already know what you're going to be eating throughout the week, so it's less of a headache. Then the next step is that full-on step of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, dessert. Oh, desserts. I always have cookies or ice cream on hand. So the next step is saying what you are going to absolutely be eating for every single meal. Now, this doesn't work for everybody. This step doesn't work for everybody. Usually this step works nicely for people. If you don't make it from this step to this step, no worries. It is just another step that you can take your meal planning to. So you go through your kitchen, find out what you have, and you decide the dinners that you're going to create first from what you already have in your kitchen. So let's say we have so many eggs this week, we're going to eat omelets on Sunday for dinner, and then Monday we have a lot of rice and beans that we need to eat. So we're going to eat bean and cheese burritos or bean and rice burritos. And then you go through and find out for Italian food, you have too much tortellini in the freezer. So tortellini. Wednesday, you don't really have anything for Japanese food, but you could whip up a mean stir fry and use some chicken that you have left over. And then Thursday, you can go out or try a new recipe. Look up a new recipe that you have all of the ingredients for already. American food. Let's say you do a meatloaf because you have some leftover stuff in your freezer. And for Saturday, let's say you want to go out to eat. And you put an expense limit on it, $50. Then dessert, you have a Jell-O packet that's been sitting in your pantry for God knows how long, but it's still within dates magically. So you put Jell-O down here and you put it for dessert all week. Lunches, I like to leave it as leftovers. Let's say when you make this omelet, you're not going to have leftovers, but you have some extra ramen in your pantry. Let's say you're going to have leftovers on Tuesday. You're still going to do that big breakfast on Sunday, probably pancakes, and that'll run through most of your morning. And then Wednesday, you'll probably still have some leftover tortellini. And the smart way to do this is to always make enough of your dinner so you have leftovers the next day. And let's say then you're down to breakfast, morning snacks, and afternoon snacks. Like I said, I always like to do morning snacks as something sweet and afternoon snacks as something salty. So you could say peanuts, and you could say chips, almonds. I'm a big proponent to try and fit as many nuts into your diet as possible. So having an afternoon snack that is a nut is a really good thing, just to add more protein into your diet and all of those healthy, nutritious vitamins and minerals that comes with a lot of nuts. So I like to add as many nuts as possible compared to like chips or fishies or Cheez-Its, just because they are not as high in nutritional quality. So I can say that. And then morning or breakfast, I tend to go for oatmeal, and I would just put it all the way across, just because I can change the oatmeals to be whatever I so choose. Each morning that I wake up, whatever type of oatmeal that I want to make, I can make. And then morning snack, I would say banana if we have too many bananas, and then apple, pear, banana, apple, pear. If you do it this third way, then while you're making it, you can be going through your pantry, through your kitchen, and through your refrigerator, and see what you do not have, and automatically making a list of things that you need to go pick up from the grocery store. That way you can just make one run to the grocery store and have everything you need for that week's worth of food, and you're all set up. This is really nice because then you can feed everybody in your family for the lowest amount of price because you already know what you're going to be making and you only make that one run to the grocery store. And then also you eat everything that's in your pantry, that's in your refrigerator. You already eat everything that's there, and you aren't making last minute decisions that where you usually spend more money, and you already made the decisions when you sat down and made the whole entire deal. So you no longer have decisions to be made, which is nice. You don't get decision fatigue nearly as well. Now, the whole entire reason why you need to go step by step in this process instead of going from no meal planning all the way down to this is because this is way too much for a person to handle at the very beginning. Just starting up here, like doing your days, whichever you want to eat each day, and just knowing, okay, on Monday we're eating Mexican food. It could be enchiladas, it could be burritos, it could be us going out and getting whatever we want from a Mexican food restaurant. It takes some decisions off your mind. And then the next one, which I have to say a lot of people stay at, which is pretty variable, it's very flexible, but you do end up eating a lot of what is in your cupboards and your refrigerator, and you will save a lot of money right here. And then this is the best way to save money, but don't go to it immediately if you do not meal plan, because it will actually end up costing you more money because people get tired of this meal planning. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of forethought. It does save money, but if you try and jump into this immediately, it's not going to work out well. Okay, that's it for this Financial Friday. I hope you have a good week and see you next week. Good luck.